Hi, everyone. If you're new here, welcome to the Grow Through It podcast. My name is Julia, and I'm so happy to be here today. Today's topic covers what I thought my life would look like at 27 years old versus what it actually looks like. If you've been struggling with where you're at in life, maybe you're feeling like you're not doing enough, you aren't successful enough, maybe you're comparing yourself to other people your age who you think are farther ahead than you, then this episode is for you. As always, if you know someone who may be going through something like this, please share it with them if you think it would benefit them. All right, let's get into today's episode. When I was younger, I thought I'd be married at 23 and kids by 25 or 26. I was in a long-term relationship at the time, so this made more sense. I thought I'd be working a solid career and would be sure of what I wanted to do with my life. I always thought people in their later 20s needed to have the career, the family, needed to know exactly what their life needed to look like. What I've come to realize, though, is that most people in their 20s and even 30s are still figuring it out. I feel like you're always figuring it out, no matter how old you are. You don't just know how to do everything and know exactly what you want in life just because you're a certain age. You are constantly growing and maturing and learning new things about yourself, so it's completely okay to change your mind. This one quote I heard actually changed my perspective so much, and it was something about how when you're 23 years old, you're only a 6-year-old adult. You've only been an adult for 6 years. That blew my mind. It's so true. There's a lot that goes into being an adult, and schools don't teach you those important things you should learn, like your finances, owning a home, taxes, how to maintain your house, basically everything you need to do as an adult. If you're in your 20s like me, you are still so young. If you're under 25, your frontal lobe hasn't even fully developed yet. Of course, you aren't going to know everything or be super successful yet. And maybe you are really successful and have a very clear vision of what you want your life to look like, and that's amazing. But most people don't. And if you do, you may even change your mind as you get older. I used to feel really bad about myself for changing my career so many times, and I had a therapist tell me how cool it is that I did that. She said that I'm just so curious about multiple topics, and once I've mastered something, I want to try something different. It changed my perspective so much, and I realized that I do love learning and trying new things, and working the same job for the rest of my life just isn't something I want to do. Maybe down the road I will find something I really love and I'll never want to leave, but right now I'm okay with exploring my options and seeing what I love to do. I also have so much under my belt now. I have knowledge about fitness and nutrition, early childhood education, gymnastics, customer service, spirituality. How cool that I have learned so much and can share that with others. So if you're feeling bad about not knowing what career path you want to take, just know that it's completely fine to take your time and try different things. You are not behind in life because of this. That being said, if you can avoid taking multiple college or university courses and learn a different way if possible, I'd recommend that. School is very expensive and you don't want to get too behind financially. My courses weren't too expensive, and I had great options to pay for those courses, so it wasn't too bad for me, but still not ideal. But if you are really unsure of what you want to do, I believe it's best to wait to enroll in school until you're sure. There is absolutely nothing wrong with taking some time off and working before you go to school. I took a gap year after graduating high school, and I saved a lot of money. Then when I was ready to move to Alberta and start school, I felt a lot more financially stable. I also know that there's a lot of pressure for people in their 20s, especially women, to get married and have kids. Most of what I see on social media is people posting their engagement announcements or pregnancy announcements, or posting photos of their kids. I know it's the same for a lot of people, and they may feel behind because they're not quite there yet, but that is okay. You have so much time for all of that. I am so grateful I did not get married and have kids when I thought I would or wanted to, because I wouldn't be with my partner now if that were the case. If you aren't there yet, it's because there's something bigger and better waiting for you down the road. Don't rush the process. I think life is about exploring and learning and trying different things. If you're constantly comparing yourself to other people or putting pressure on yourself to have it all figured out, you're not enjoying life to the fullest. Why are you wasting time worrying about having a perfect life? Because of what you see on social media? I talked about this in the last episode, but you are seeing someone's highlight reel, not what their life actually looks like. They could be miserable for all you know. When I was engaged and in a long-term relationship, managing a gym and personal training, I looked like I had it all figured out. I lived in a nice house, had a big friend group, was getting married. On social media, it probably looked pretty good, but I was the most depressed and anxious I had ever been, and I hated my life and I hated myself. Some people may have thought that when I quit that job and that relationship that I was moving backwards in life, but I am the happiest and healthiest I have ever been. I am more confident. I have self-respect and self-worth. I love my current job. I have a lot less friends, but the ones I do have are genuinely good friends that don't make me feel bad about myself. I'm more fit. I'm trying new things and learning about myself and what I like to do. I'm living life on my own terms. I would take that any day over being miserable but looking successful. Throughout life, you will go through many different phases and experience new things. If you just became a parent for the first time, you are brand new to this. You won't know everything right away. No one does as a first-time parent. Or even if you have kids, a lot of people don't know what they're doing. They are learning and exploring every single day. Recently, I've been listening to the song Vienna by Billy Joel a lot. I feel like this song is so therapeutic and makes you feel so much better about your life. If you haven't heard it, please listen. It's my absolute favorite song. I think I might even get a Vienna tattoo at some point. But this song very much relates to this episode. If you're feeling overwhelmed with life, it's a great song to listen to. When I'm feeling overwhelmed, hearing him sing the words, "Slow down, you're doing fine," always makes me tear up, but reassures me that I'm going to be okay. Sometimes I do get in my head about being behind, but I have to remind myself that everyone's timeline is different and focus on how I feel day to day. Majority of the time, I am very happy and I'm working towards a better future. I also know a lot of people feel pressure from their families to go to school, get a good career, get married, things like that. This obviously is a little harder to navigate because they're your family, but something to keep in mind is your family isn't living your life. This is your life and it is your choice what you want to do with it. I'm not saying don't get a job or try to figure out what you want, but don't feel bad for not knowing. I know a lot of people whose parents made them go to university straight out of high school, and they wasted so much time and money going to school for something they didn't even want to do. Not that education is ever a waste, but like I touched on earlier, I think it's okay to take time to really think about what you want to do before spending thousands of dollars on school. You also don't need to go to school to get a solid career. I feel like it's more accepted now not to go to school, but in some families and cultures, it's almost a must for them. However, there are so many options out there that don't cost as much, but that can result in you becoming very successful and doing what you love. I really think that's all that it's about. Finding what you love and pursuing that passion however you can. None of what I said on this episode means you shouldn't have goals and aspirations. You absolutely should and should always work towards that. My point is that your timeline may be different than someone else's, and that's okay. Be kinder to yourself and don't compare yourself to someone else's timeline. It's okay to not have it all figured out. You do only have one life, and you have a limited amount of time in that life. That does not mean you have to find success at a certain age or complete things by a certain age, especially if these are just society's standards. You are wasting that time that you do have in this life worrying about what other people think about you, worrying about being behind, worrying about not finding success. Turn that focus into finding out what you're passionate about, how you can make that passion into a career, what hobbies you enjoy doing and doing them, what you want out of a relationship. Get crystal clear on what you want in life, not what others think you should have, but what you truly want to make you happy and feel fulfilled. Get clear on this and then figure out how to make that happen. Ask the universe, God, or whatever you believe in to help guide you to these things. Let them know that this is what you want and be open when things come your way. Take action and start pursuing what you actually want in life. When you stop caring what other people think and stop caring about society's view on success and start focusing on you, you will live a much happier and truly successful life. Start asking yourself, how fulfilled you feel each day? How do you feel about the relationships you have in your life? How do you feel about your job? Dig deep on these. How is your health? Do you feel energized, strong, and healthy? What are you learning each day to improve yourself? If you are unhappy with the answers you get, chances are you are focusing too much on how you think you should live your life based on society's standards. If you're happy with your answers, then you are doing better than majority of people out there. When you are constantly feeling bad about where you are in life, you will never feel like what you're doing is enough. You will work so hard and get burnt out, and it won't even be for the right reasons. Once you start focusing on your goals and dreams and less about what others think, you will start attracting more positive opportunities and people in your life. Surrounding yourself with people that are positive and constantly growing will help your perspective so much. You will be more optimistic, dream bigger, and work harder. So at 27, my life looks very different from what I thought it would when I was younger, but I would not trade it for the world. This episode was short and sweet, but I hope it helped you take some pressure off yourself and maybe just not feel so alone. If you have any questions or want to talk more about this topic, feel free to send me a message on Instagram at growthroughit.pod. It would mean so much to me if you could rate and review this podcast, as it helps me grow and reach more people. As always, thank you for listening, and remember that you are worthy. See you next time.